You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Awake After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Awake After Show.
Yeah! Well, should we all do that?
I love the whoops. I love the whoops you guys do before we get in. It's like, whoops, there we are, AFTERBUZZ.
Here we go.
Well, hey, everybody. Bing is for doing, and we are here doing another AFTERBUZZ After Show for Awake, Season 1, Episode 8, Nightswimming. Before we get started, would my lovely panel here like to introduce themselves?
Sure. I'm not lovely, but I'm Kristen Carney, and I'm not going to tell you what I do, but you can go to my blog and check it out. It's about the small stuff with Kristen.com.
And over here we got Sean Overman. Here again, another week with Awake. You can follow me at Sean_Overman on Twitter, and you can check me out on Facebook as well, and you can check out my blog, SeanOverman.org.
And I'm Lauren Turner. Thank you, thank you. You can find me on Twitter at Lauren's Love, L-U-V.
Hey, Lauren. Hey, Sean. Hey, Kristen.
And we got somebody
I'm
special here.
Yeah, I was. Thank you, Sean. I'm Anna Koppel, your host, and we are joined tonight by Rebecca Blumhagen. You want to say hi?
Hi, everybody.
Hey. Rebecca, where can we follow you on Twitter or anything?
Oh, yes. Our Blooms.
Our Blooms. We're Twitter friends. We go way back, so
Yeah,
I feel like,
I know. I actually found out I was on the show through your tweet.
It's awesome. So yeah, you can. Rebecca stars on Cinemax's Girls Guide to Depravity, which is on Friday nights at I believe 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and we will talk much more about that after the break. So right now, let's get into Awake.
Yay. You're a huge fan? Are you a super fan? I'm
a super fan.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Very cool. Yay.
We need more super fans.
Passion, yeah,
Yes.
Passionate viewers.
Yeah, tell your friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell them that Awake
How'd
is
you like
awesome.
watching? We all watch the show together before every AFTERBUZZ show. How'd you like sitting in there with us today?
I loved it. It felt very official. I mean, usually when you watch TV, it's a little more casual than this. But this was, and then there was a little talk on the commercials, sort of taking stock. It was fun. And there was candy. I mean, you can't really beat that.
Thanks, Ronnie, for the candy.
Twizzlers.
Do you know what I love about being a host here the most is, besides the fact that that just rhymed. But thank you. Like you just said, it's a little bit more casual, and I'm like, 80% of my time is spent laying on the couch watching TV, and I always felt like such a loser. But now that I host here, I can be like, "Oh, hey, sorry guys, I'm doing research.
I literally was
I'm
just
working right now."
We were literally just talking about that before we came in the room. I said, at least I lose my guilt for watching TV because I feel like I'm getting somewhere in life watching TV.
Yeah,
Well,
I love it.
Anna, obviously I was going to capitalize on what you're talking about. It is sort of, the way you're saying it, it is like a community. It allows everyone to watch TV together. And a show like this, Awake, I know there's a lot of people who maybe dive into it initially, or they hear about it, they want to know more about it. I love watching it with you guys because I know Sean takes great notes, and I'm like, what just happened? It is really that moment. And when we had Rebecca in there, I felt all the same. It's like everyone has the same questions, and that's kind of one of the things that AFTERBUZZ capitalizes on. So we do a lot for you. We just want everyone online to also comment and rate our iTunes page, because that does a lot right back for us.
That's
so
true.
That's what I think, and I do love the show, you guys.
Yay, good.
Yay. We hooked Ronnie.
Yes.
That's a big deal, you guys.
That's a huge deal.
It's interesting. I'm on the edge of my seat at all times. So.
All right. Well, let's actually talk about this episode. How does everybody feel about that?
I won't
Go
start.
ahead.
I won't start. No. It's not good to start on a negative. You guys start.
Okay, I'll start. How about we simply start with, we don't, this is one of the first few episodes that we have Britten not be the first person we see on screen. You know, we have a couple episodes ago we had Dr. Lee introducing like mental patients or whatever. Here we have security guards and like, what's going on here? You know, who's this guy that's running around naked? Wow, it's Britten. How weird is that? What's he doing at this pool?
You know, they didn't let us know what he was doing at the pool until the very end.
Yeah.
And right at the beginning of the episode, when I saw him up there, at first I didn't even recognize him. He looked like a crazy loon. And I thought, once I realized it was him, I thought he's losing his mind.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way too.
And I thought he was thinking he was in a dream. I thought they were going to maybe bring it to like he was sleepwalking or something. I thought it was going to have something to do with the dream and he got out of bed and whoa, I just happened to be. But so I was a little disappointed to find out the ending. I mean, it was cute, you know, it's sweet and cute.
I was the opposite of disappointed.
Right, yeah.
I was like
we are so
crying.
opposite.
This is so beautiful.
It was cute, but I just wish it lent to more development within the dreams because I feel like personally the show, so far of what we've seen, being this far into this many episodes, episode number 8, I was hoping to see more that he's getting closer to finding out something. It's like he's been driving this whole time for 8 episodes, but he's still in the exact same spot. So I don't feel the progression that I want to be feeling and getting closer to solving something. I feel like he's in a hamster wheel and he's literally doing the same thing and he's not getting closer to any answers.
That was particularly true with this episode because we really did not get into the psychology of Britten at all. We didn't have any therapy sessions. We didn't see... We saw Hannah. Did we see Rex at all? No. Not even for a second. And we barely saw Hannah. So it felt more like a cop show or a crime show than it did anything else, which, you know, I know like helps move the story along, but, you know, I mean,
maybe this was halftime.
What do you want to say, Rebecca?
I think the writers are doing it on purpose. I think they're weaning us off of the luxury of being in both realities, and that this episode was sort of like he is making an effort to like let go of the dream world a little bit and move on, and those like beautiful metaphors that we get from the dreams, I feel like the jumping off, like with her, like he's bringing those into reality. So he's saying like if jumping off like the high dive board naked into a pool, not knowing what's going to happen, like if that's a metaphor for the move, then he's like bringing those things into his.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. That's a really good point. I think because I feel like I'm watching the show for the dreams. So when I don't get more information on the dreams, I'm like, come on.
I think I agree with you there. I like the sci-fi aspect of it.
Yeah.
And this straight up was the only thing that really...
CSI.
Yeah. Well, it was really like a lot of crime stuff going on. And the only thing that was the connection between the two is that in the green world, he had that big, huge case, and it was like he was solving something there, and it taught him a lesson about what to do in the red world, but it was just with his wife. It wasn't something about, is this reality? Is it a dream? It wasn't solving his own personal, like, the overlapping story arc, which is this dream or is it reality?
Right. I just wish, a lot of shows that are really successful have an identity and you know what they are, and I feel like I totally love what you just said. I would have never thought that in a million gazillion years. But I think that if the writers are doing it on purpose, I think they're making a mistake by veering off. That's just my personal opinion, because that the dreams is what makes the show different from every other crime show on television. Yeah. If you take away the dreams, you are CSI and you're Law and Order and you're all of those shows. So I think in order to be different, to stand out, you need to incorporate the dreams more. You need to.
I almost feel like, I don't watch all the CSI shows as much either, so that's not my cup of tea of what I actually like, but for some reason I was able to go there within this show. It may have been that one episode of being derailed from what you were expecting that did it, but I still had several questions that arose when I watched it. So for some weird reason, yes, it was very CSI-ish, which is not my kind of deal to begin with, but because he's got so much going on in his mind and things bounce back and forth, he treats the wife a certain way after he goes through experiences in the other world. I loved that. Like that is where I stayed connected versus stepping away because it was all crime scene type stuff.
Can I just say, on the kind of contrary to what you were saying, Kristen, one of the viewers tweeted, "World to the Joy." So hi, World to the Joy on Twitter. said, well played, NBC Awake. That's how a TV drama is crafted. I'm looking at you, CSI. So, you know, everyone has their own opinion, and that was for this episode. So they felt that it's getting better than CSI. So you never know. I mean, I kind of agree with what you're saying, and then part of me still feels like that dream aspect is still there enough for me to want to watch it again. You know.
All right, but let's be real here, though. I'm sure you talk to your friends. You say, "Oh yeah, I host an after show for Awake." People say, "Oh, what's Awake about?" Do you say, "Oh, well, it's a crime show"? That's not. I mean, that's not how I describe the show at all.
Right.
So I think to get too carried over into this other aspect of the show, while it's a necessary plot device, I feel like they strayed way too much in this particular episode.
I think the pace of the episode was kind of determined by like the first 5 minutes. Okay, so we see Britten, and he's, you know, that craziness with the pool, but then after that it goes to the whole like car blowing up. That was crazy too. And then we go into a really slow paced interrogation room thing where they just spent so much time in there talking to that couple. And then after that, you know, the hotel thing, and that little exchange with the wife and the husband, and it's just that it didn't do it for me in those scenes.
Right. Same here. But, you know, it's like when you're a teenager and you're just starting out in the world, you go through identity crises. And I think, you know, a new show will have these ups and downs. The problem is I don't know if the show really will make it past the season, unfortunately. And I'm, you know, would love to be optimistic about it, but just from everything that I've read, it doesn't look like that. So it's like they should find their identity quickly to try to hang on to that hope. Because if they make little mistakes along the way and they lose, if they, you know, if they all of a sudden stepped it up this
But isn't their identity that they don't know what their identity is, that you are like constantly searching? I mean, I get
a show with this strong of a premise knows its identity. It wouldn't have a premise like this if it didn't know. If it just said crime show, then yeah. But
you're thinking of Seinfeld.
No, I'm just thinking like, you know, in comparison with the Heroes and Losts of the world, you know, I don't know. To me, I'm just so much more plugged into something like this than I was with one of those shows that just, you know, they're great shows, but they took you all these different places. There's something different here. And the fact that you can't describe it to your friends, Anna, that's what I enjoy about it. I don't know. I'm just different in that way.
Oh, no. I can describe it to my friends. I just don't describe it as a crime show.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, regardless, I agree with Anna, and I'm not hating on the show at all. I think what's awesome about AfterBuzz is being real and really because you can be a fan of the show. You can be a fan of the show and be listening to the podcast, but be disappointed with an episode. You know, if you're a fan of a certain sports team and they play bad, you still love that sports team.
Yeah,
right. So it's like it's okay to talk about things that maybe aren't what you're loving about the show, because it just lends to connecting with everybody, because we do really like the show, but then we also are going to be honest and you know, just talk about the betterment of the show as well. So
I think if we didn't love the show so much, we wouldn't be disappointed when these sorts of things happen. Because
last week I was so excited, and I think that's why this week I'm a little bit like I won't start because I want to be negative. Because I was so excited from last week, because I really liked last week's episode, and I was excited. I was really genuinely excited to see this week, and then, you know, just being disappointed. So.
Yeah, last week was so different because he had those like auditory hallucinations with the Ricky's Tacos thing, and they're like, you know, the guy's like talking to him, telling him, "Don't go to Oregon."
Right.
What are you talking about,
there was
man?
a lot going on last episode. We even talked about that. Maybe it was a bad decision to take this episode play this episode right after last week, which was packed with so much. So
What do you Rebecca, what do you think about him going to Oregon? Do you think he's really going to go, or do you think they're just playing with our heads about getting there?
I think at this point it's the idea of being away, and it's fun to watch him sort of let go of and move towards that. I don't know how many episodes we have left.
I think we have like four.
Yeah.
4 episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, but
it's like
a lot could happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sort of interested about that. teaser that was at the end. Was it the last episode or the one before with where his boss is sort of
That was last episode.
that was
yeah.
yeah. There's a ton. I feel like there's a lot of these teasers that they're leaving us with at the end of these episodes. I don't know if they're going to come back to them at some point.
I so hope they go back to the teaser about the conspiracy, if that's what it is. 'Cause
Yeah.
the captain was saying, that was the last line of last week's episode. Like,
Yeah.
our problem just walked out of my office and quit, or something. Or
Yeah,
he's gone. So I want to know more about that.
I know he can't. Yeah, he can't move.
No, and I wish they brought it
No,
up
but
this week because it was so on our minds from last week.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he is gonna move to Oregon. Like you saw, like he had the boxes.
And that's why I
he's
feel like-
putting everything away. They're getting rid of
Yeah.
everything. They're selling the house.
I
Yeah.
think that was an important aspect. Like, even though we may not have liked the case and the situation as much, I think that it was kind of imperative that he met this couple and he kind of brought himself back to his wife and like back to basics with his wife and realizing what's important and packing and finally realizing, okay, let me pack the boxes. Do you think that had anything to do with it, or am I just kind of wishful thinking, Rebecca?
Anything to do with what?
With him packing the boxes and finally being like, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And the husband and the wife in the case and like,
right.
you know what I mean? Like realizing that
They need to stay together. I mean, that's kind of what dreams do for us is they kind of connect what's happening in our real life. And it's interesting. I was thinking in this show, mostly it kind of leads him to like a positive conclusion where he goes. But in my life, a lot of times I'll have dreams that will like actually lead me to a negative place or think. I wonder if they'll ever go there with this show.
Well, I have a theory on all of this.
I love your theories on
Blast
it.
it.
Thank you. Get ready to have your minds blown because
Putting on my helmet.
I think that they might be showing the episodes out of sequence.
I read that.
You did?
Yeah, someone said that.
Was it me?
No, it was on a message board. They said like I have a theory that that was just kind of that kind of talk. I was like deep into the message boards, like somewhere in La La Land. But yeah, they said that.
Yeah, there are too many cliffhangers. Like the idea, like a couple weeks ago, they had Gemini, the Gemini killer. Remember?
Right.
Yeah, with like the $2
Yeah,
bills.
I
it
know.
was gone.
Ruined $2 bills for me forever. I mean, they used to be so exciting.
To have somebody like that who's, going to Portland and then just kind of falls off and Britton's going along with his life like nothing ever happened. Like,
Right.
dude, a serial killer like broke into your therapist's office and is looking up information about you.
Right, and the last scene of that episode that the Gemini was in, he was in the airport waiting
Right.
for his plane to go to Oregon.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that could be a major twist in the plot if they are doing that.
If he ends up in Oregon next time, it could be a big deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think the boxes anybody are maybe symbolic when he was putting the boxes in the truck? Obviously, they're symbolic, like you said, when you're jumping off the diving board into the unknown. It can represent that. When I watched him packing the boxes up, I just thought this can't be the reality because I really don't think he actually went through with packing those. And I think this is a way he's kind of tying up his own life in his head.
But he didn't pack them. Hannah had packed them.
Well, not that he physically packed them, but I just felt like him putting that into his dream.
Kristen, here's what I think he should do. He should get rid of that old stuff. He should buy new stuff. And if he's going to buy new stuff, he should probably go to AfterBuzzTV.com. He should click on the Amazon button right there and buy all the things he wants to buy through Amazon. And it helps out AfterBuzz too. So that's what he should do. But I don't know about this character if he's going to listen to me.
We got to get to the writers on Awake to do that, to do a plug for us on their show.
Absolutely.
Just have them online.
Because you're
clicking
online
on
all the
it.
time anyway, and especially you're online and you're watching all the AfterBuzz shows, and then you do spend an equal amount of time, purchasing different items online. Why not link it all up together? It helps us. It helps you. Everyone wins, and Amazon is definitely doing a lot for us, so we like that as well.
Let's link it all up full circle. We have Rebecca Blumhagen in with us tonight, and who stars in Girls Guide to Depravity. And the book is available for pre-order on Amazon.com right now, and the book will be out May 8th. So
Go to AfterBuzz to get that book.
click on the link for Amazon, and then it's like we're just all one big happy family.
I think I'm going to buy that book
This is
for
getting
all of
in-
you.
I
Do
know.
it right now.
Every girl in your life should have the Every Girl's Guide to Life and the Girl's Guide to Depravity.
Look
See,
at
that's like
Look at
two
that.
completely different. That's good. It's like the lady in the streets, and then there's the freak in the sheets,
sheets.
right? It's
Love
exactly
it.
those.
Boom. All right. Moving on.
Yes. Anyway, boxes from Amazon.com. Packing up boxes, I just felt like in his mind, if that was a dream, I thought it was very symbolic. And I didn't really necessarily think that was going to get him any closer to Oregon, like physically.
I felt like it was more getting him close to his wife.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing with her in the beginning, like getting rid of the stuff, and he's like resistant to it.
Right.
Obviously because it's stuff that they had from their old life. And everything that was going on with that couple, the Russian couple, was like pretty much a learning lesson for him. Like he was just he was looking at everything and he was applying it, and it mirrored pretty much his life with Hannah. And he was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a different route. I don't want this to end in tragedy. I don't want to keep resisting. I'm gonna go with the flow. Just like them swimming in the pool, having a great time.
Right. Definitely. Yeah, I could see that.
Rebecca, do you have one over the other that you think is a dream or reality?
I've been thinking that the reality is him with his wife because of these there's been a couple moments where he just looks at Rex and it's like he's saying goodbye to him. And he doesn't do that in the other reality. And there's no, the sort of forward motion, like the talk of moving to Oregon is all happening in his reality with his wife. But then I just was thinking, as you were talking about packing up the boxes, maybe he's packing up his life with his
her,
wife, with
and
her,
ending it,
and the moving is like
moving on.
Yeah.
I mean, but then it's like I get stuck on I want one reality to be real versus the other, but then I think, oh my gosh, well, neither of them maybe are real. Maybe he's actually, neither of them are alive. Maybe he's actually dead or whatever, or none of this ever happened and he's just like, under an experiment or something, because I want to think the wife's reality is real.
Yeah.
And I think I want to go that way. And I said this last week was just because it feels, when you're dreaming, I feel like you dream to help yourself. And when he's with Rex, it's always really sad and gloomy. And I don't think those are the types of dreams that you would have if you were trying to move forward in your life. And with his wife, the sun's out, the birds are chirping, and she's coping a lot, which seems realistic to me. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna be quiet about that, just because I don't think that's the
why
answer.
isn't Rex in
But
therapy?
real quick, my thing, my thing is, wasn't his relationship with Rex different in that way anyway? Maybe that's why there is more of a negative or not as positive as the mother's side of things. I mean, his wife.
I think I definitely agree that that it would be perceived like that with the son, because the father's not as close with his son at that age when he's going through puberty and things. And I just think the wife's reality seems more realistic, because I don't want to repeat myself because it's just really boring. So anyway,
I think they're equally real or not real.
Yeah.
I don't know, because you can find flaws with either of them.
Yeah, I agree with Anna here. It's like that one hypothesis I said before. It's like they could very well both be real.
Right.
And he could just be living between them. He's that nexus, that bridge in between the two.
Well, we have so much to talk about, of course, and we will, of course, want to know everything about Rebecca and her career and how much she likes Awake. But let's go to one quick phone call, maybe a question or two, and just see what the fans think of this great show on NBC called Awake.
Okay.
Hello, AfterBuzz.
Hello, my legends. It's Adrian here.
Oh, what's up, Adrian?
How we doing?
I'm doing great.
Doing well, man.
What's your question?
I'm doing good. I just watched the episode maybe about 3 hours ago, so I was just patiently waiting for you guys to get on.
Oh, wow. Well, thanks for being so patient, man. You watched it early. You must watch like the Eastern time, right?
No, actually, I live in the West Coast as well. It was up online already, so I was in class when it was up. So I was like, I already finished my exam, and decided to just watch it while I wait.
Oh, good use of your time. Yeah. Yes.
Right on.
So, what is your question or comment for us?
Well, I actually have a few theories, and Kristen, I think you brought up one of them.
Because I'm awesome.
Well, I think I kind of figured out the plot for the series. You mentioned him possibly being in an experiment or dead, and what if those dreams are possibly heaven and limbo or whatever the other world is? And, it seems like also you notice that the visual aspect, you notice that when he's with his wife, the world is lighter, while when he's with his son, it's darker, almost like limbo in a way.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've touched on that quite a bit,
Yeah.
Throughout our discussions. We've talked about how, they use the good filters, they use the green filters a lot cooler. Maybe it seems like it's the underworld and the sun's reality, and then it seems a lot brighter, nicer. The birds are chirping and stuff in the red reality.
Yeah. We did mention that last week, but what you said that very confidently. Like you said, I think I have this figured out. What makes you so confident that that's
it could go that way?
What do you think really, what's defining that for you? What's giving you that answer?
Well, just how the way he's acting whenever he's in both worlds. He seems to be more happier when he's with his wife, while when he's with his son, he seems like he's kind of being distant and saying goodbye in a way.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what makes me think that that's not that's what he's not dreaming. I'm really confused right now what I'm talking about. I've just wrapped myself in so many directions.
That's definitely been on the message boards too.
Yeah.
The same theory.
It has been.
Thanks,
All
Adrian.
right. Yeah, Adrian, thank you so much for your call. Keep listening. Okay. The purgatory thing is interesting because it could be that he's in a coma, and it just depends on who's in the room with him at the time.
Oh.
Yeah, he could be
Wow.
picking up on
That's
energy.
adding another
That's
level
awesome.
to what
Yeah,
I thought.
that's really good. So it could be, there's that whole thing where if you talk to someone while they're unconscious, then they actually, it helps them get out of that coma faster. So maybe each time his son or his wife is coming in and he's dreaming about each of those realities, and maybe he doesn't really have control over it. He's just like making it all up.
Yeah.
I love that. That's
I love that too.
one. That's my favorite thing.
I think there is only one person allowed in the room in ICU, so...
Yeah, so it would be one at a time. Yeah, because when you have a dream and your alarm clock goes off, you incorporate that into your dream. Somehow that sound becomes part of, like, you're in a fire truck or something, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, Anna.
That's good.
High five up top.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Did we want to go ahead and grab a commercial break?
Yeah, I'm in a commercial break. You in a commercial break?
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Welcome back, everybody. Bing is for doing. We're here doing Awake After Show, Season 1, Episode 8. And we're just going to touch on the crime aspect of the show a little bit more, and then we're going to get into talking about Rebecca Blumhagen and her career. And she's so pretty.
That'll probably take the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
Thanks,
You're really
Matt.
pretty. Do you get that all the time?
No, thank you so much.
You do get it all the time, please. Yeah.
But I would never expect her to be in the show that she's in, just like the character.
I know, I'm so curious to ask questions.
Good. I can't wait.
We want to get to that quickly, so let's blow through this crime stuff.
So we had the Russians, a little like Russian mafia style.
Yeah, we could not get the name right?
Yeah, it was.
Basayev?
I know his first name was Maxim, the bad guy.
The main villain that we never got to see.
Yeah, we never saw him, but he's obviously out to kill Marcus.
Yes.
He blows up his car. He's out to get Marcus and his wife.
And what was the wife's name? Ellen?
Alina.
Alina.
Who we actually have a hosted AfterBuzz named Alina that I do a show with. So that's why I remember that.
Is she Russian as well?
She's actually Afghanistanian.
Afghani.
Thank you. I said that to her before, but anyway, I always love bringing like the mafia style stuff in it because in the mafia they're always just so relentless. Like they'll kill you for no reason at all, if any. It's just usually money. So that was fun. I like that. Did anyone else feel that I don't want to insult the show again because I'm not trying to, but it's becoming like that formula of like crime, clue, crime, like clue between the worlds,
yeah.
crime again, and it's just a little expected. But I don't know. What do you guys think about their plot for the crime?
Well, are we talking about the green reality here? Yes, we still are, right?
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
So I didn't like it too much. Overall, it didn't seem like it was so much about the crime. Again, it was about that relationship between the husband and the wife going on.
Right.
Which paralleled what you mentioned in the previous episodes about how you wanted to see more relating Britten to the actual cases. Even the part where the husband didn't even know his wife's friends' names. I think Britten maybe that was a part of that as well. Britten was not a part of his family's life, before the accident. And so I bet he probably has missed out on things like that as well. So I thought about when Sean mentioned he wanted to see more relativity to from the crimes, and the actual characters.
I thought it was thank you, Lauren. I thought it was funny how Alina, she was so mad about, it's blood money, I can't have any of that. And then he says, okay, you can only take one large suitcase. Oh, but I want to take all my stuff that's been bought with the blood money.
Right. Hypocrisy.
Yeah, very funny.
But I liked the actress.
I liked her.
I thought she did a good job because that's how you probably would respond. You would beat the shit out of your husband.
Her reaction was so genuine.
I mean, I would anyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
And he was scared of her being left alone in that hotel room with her. That was more dangerous than being left with the criminals.
Yeah, so they're left alone there, obviously. And did he sleep through her leaving or something? She just took off.
Well, it was overnight, and she was gone in the morning.
Right.
So that's why.
So she ends up leaving, and he sees that one clue. He's looking over like all the ATM transactions, and he sees the palace because he noticed the palace in the other reality. Okay, and then he's just like, okay, hunch time. I'm gonna go and check out this palace place, and that leads them to this guy Greg, the blonde dude, fit guy, and the mafiosos, the Russian guys, end up getting to him first, and we find out that he's a male prostitute in a way, right? Did he say? He said, "I'm a companion that gets paid,"
quote
right?
unquote.
Yeah, and then he ends up being gay too. So it's like he's actually just being her friend. It's not like it totally fooled me as an audience member. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?"
Yeah. I like that twist a lot.
I don't think we're hearing Rebecca on her mic.
Is that better?
There she is.
Yeah.
I like that twist a lot. It was unconventional because it really to have the relationship really about her just missing the old relationship that she had with her husband. That was really
Absolutely. I agree.
We wanted to like her. And we got to.
Yeah.
We couldn't demonize her after all the blood money she was forced to have.
I love the white pantsuit she was wearing. It was so mafioso. Like the big ring.
Yes, love it.
I like that scene at the motel, and I liked that he sort of gave her a chance really to choose too. Like, do you want to be with him or do you want to be on your own? And that gave her the chance to decide, like, I want to go back.
Yeah, that was pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So actually, I was actually taking notes during that part. So, but she said, okay, so what happened was, can you explain it again to me? Like, so she decided to go back to her husband?
Yeah. He said, like, do you want me to assign you an identity by yourself or with your husband? And she decided to go back. Yeah,
okay.
Together.
Good wife.
Yeah.
Take it, somebody.
And in the red world, not that much happened, right? So we have the CI, the confidential informant, that's being introduced to Vega because in
Jake, is that his name?
I think it was Jake. I really didn't catch his name, but you got it. So he's been like a CI for the police for 15 years. He gives them lots of information, right? And actually, Rebecca, you thought that he was charming in a way, the old man?
I liked him a lot. I thought he was great. He had like a kind of sense of humor that really gave kind of a kick to the show.
Yeah. He made it feel like more like a movie.
Yeah.
He had that kind of air around him.
Yeah.
I feel like this is where a lot of the comic relief was this episode, because it was pretty serious in the green reality, and then the red reality, not much is happening.
What did he say to Valderrama? He said something, and you all laughed, and I was also taking notes at that moment, and I skipped it, but it was like,
The old man
Yeah.
said something to him?
Oh, he said, last time Jake got anything wrong, you were repeating 6th grade.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was from Britten to
to-
Vega in the car when
Oh,
they were
right,
waiting
right,
during
This
the
is
scene.
just another something that's showing him kind of wrapping things up. You know, he is passing the torch,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's just another aspect of that. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens in the next episode. And this one wraps up with back in the swimming pool. We see why Britten was naked.
Yeah.
He was with his wife,
Because everything's
going
like,
back down memory lane.
he learned his lesson. He's like, let's take the plunge again. Let's move on. Let's leave that stuff in the past. Let's get rid of all those old boxes.
Leave
We
that
don't
stuff
need
in the
that.
past by going back to the past, though.
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
that's true.
Well, he had the moment with the song where he said, I don't need the old cassette tape when we still have the song.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
But it's interesting, though, that Jake was sort of like giving him a hard time for skipping over the moment where he said goodbye. Like, he's like, you can't rush through this. Like, you can't just skip it over. You got to buy me a steak dinner. And
Yeah. Yep.
You can't just hand me the money.
yeah.
Trying to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Go, old man. Take your money.
Yeah.
God, I just wish they ended that with a conspiracy, though. Like, I wish.
Yeah, I
just
wanted to.
Yeah.
They will make up for it next episode.
Yeah.
They
but-
better.
Yeah.
And I wonder if
They
next,
don't. I'm blaming you.
You're blaming me. All right.
They have
Writers-
to bring all that stuff back. There's
Yeah.
no way they can. I mean, it's too...
I wonder if next episode we'll be able to tell if it's out of order, if it'll be another misplaced kind of episode.
I don't know.
Hopefully.
They can kind of stand alone,
Well,
these episodes.
They can, yeah, they're kind of one
Before we do any predictions, and as you guys are tying up your final thoughts on this great episode of Awake, we will also take a look at kind of what Rebecca is working on, the project. So any final thoughts for this episode, and I'll get the a clip ready for you guys.
I'm excited to see Rebecca's.
Yeah.
I want to. Me too. But I also for predictions, I guess I'm not really having many. I'm just, again, like hope, like you said, for episode 2 podcast or episode 3 podcast. It's more of a hope than a prediction. Is that they stick to the dreams and let me see some forward motion in him solving or getting closer, because it's like I almost feel like I'm in Groundhog's Day now with the show, because it's like same. It's kind of
Redundant.
it's repeating, and I want to
Yeah.
feel like I'm getting somewhere.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
so that's my hope.
All right.
Anyway, let's
Let's move on to Rebecca.
Yeah.
She's way more
This is
fun.
what is this, a trailer from your show?
I don't know.
To staying single and sexy.
He is sex on a stick.
You don't let the rules go, not ever. They're the only things keeping us safe.
Men can't resist taking women. When one of them messes with one of us,
He messes with all of us.
ow! Rule number 99. All's fair in love and war.
Drinking and
Party. Guys,
kinky sex.
All right.
Yeah.
Exciting.
So,
So would you like me to compare my show to Awake?
could you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's lots of
The similarity is this is actually some guy's dream.
I mean, sure. Yeah, let's start like that. That's interesting.
I was kind of kidding, but well,
okay, well, yeah, then don't.
you know what? Everyone in my show also wakes up at some point.
After their drunken nights.
No, well, do you want me to
You
tell
know,
you?
also,
Yeah.
you know, speaking of comparisons, just right off the bat, initially, I think of Sex in the City.
That's what-
a
yeah, that's
younger
what I'm saying.
version. So, do you get that comparison a lot?
Yeah, people talk about the comparison a lot. I've only seen a few episodes of Sex in the City, so I can't like speak to it as a whole. But our show, I think, I mean, first of all, it's a straight up comedy. I mean, these are all it's a show based on these stupid dating rules that girls follow. So every episode is based on a different rule, and it's just sort of a comedy, like taking that rule to the extreme, like what would happen.
What's your favorite rule?
I like Don't Cry, Make Him Cry. And yeah. So sorry, what was your question?
just keep telling us a little bit more about
Yeah.
the show. I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So comparison to Sex and the City. So basically, my character Samantha, she's definitely more naive, but like super like tenacious. Like she does not give up. Like every time, like Lizzie is the sort of older, wiser character, a little more jaded, and she's always like, guys are always gonna screw you over. Like you have to follow these rules or you're gonna get screwed over. Whereas I'm like, well, I don't know, I could like give that guy a chance, but like I basically always end up failing at trying to get what I want.
Did you pull anything from real life with that character?
Well, I guess I'm pretty like I don't give up very easily. And even when I'm constantly failing at something, I try and find some kind of reason that it happened.
Well, I mean, it seems like you're pretty successful right now. You've got this show on Cinemax.
Yeah.
And as I understand it, this was originally a blog. Is that right? Okay. And then it was turned into a book first, or it was turned into a series first?
First, it was turned into the series, and then she got the book deal, I think. So the book is coming out May 8th.
Which you can buy on Amazon.com via AfterBuzz
Yeah.
TV.com.
Another interesting rule that I was breezing through their website and such as the best way you can get over a guy is by getting under another guy.
Oh yeah, that's a classic rule right there.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Not from my personal experience.
Right.
So did you, were you chosen right away for the role? Like, did they, because it seems like you're the right woman to be Samantha.
Thanks. Well, it's funny because as soon as I got the audition, I was like, well, they're definitely not looking for someone like me. So sure, like I'll go in because I don't drink and party that much. And I don't feel like at home. Like I feel like I'm always on the outside, like at a bar. I'm like, okay, I'm the girl that doesn't belong. Like, how do I fit in here?
Yeah. I feel you.
So, but I think that's really like what Samantha is she's just trying to find a way to sort of fit into this world. And I mean, I think everybody kind of feels on the outside. Like, there's all these rules about dating that like everyone is supposed to know, but nobody actually knows the rules. Like, you just make it up as you go along. And that's where I think the kind of heart of this show is that these girls are really just trying to like figure it out and have a sense of humor along the way. But there's nothing to figure out. Like, it's just life, you know?
Yeah.
Right. And what was the audition process like for one of these, for this show specifically? Because it's got more like sexual content than your average show. Was that part of the audition at all? How did that?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Well, I had never done nudity before, and I was definitely like, I didn't know how I felt about it. And so when I got the audition, my agents were like, oh, like, what do you, like, was this something you consider? I was like, well, clearly they wouldn't be interested in me anyways, so I'll just audition. But then, like, they were interested, and I guess for me, like, I want to be a brave actor. Like, I don't want to be afraid to go to the place that, like, the character has to go. Like, that's part of the human story, too. And so I thought, like, if the story's worth it, it's a place that I'm willing to go. Like, I don't want to abandon my character, you know what I mean? Be like, oh yeah, like, I won't like stand with you through like being naked on camera. Like, sure, like, I'll do that for Sam. Right. So eventually, like, in the audition process, like, they had like all the like HBO people and the director and the producers, and they were like, so do you have any questions? Like, and I said, yes. Why do you think this is an important story? And Bob Conti, who's great, he is from Cinemax, he said, well, I think this is an important story. Like, I would do it for my daughters because I feel like you don't have enough like realistic dating stories for your generation. Like, I'm attracted to the language. It's smart women, like strong women speaking, but like also it's really honest. Like, all these like situations that they end up in, like shows like Sex and the City, like it's still really romanticized. And this show, like, it's mostly like it doesn't end well. And that's really basically like the reality of dating life, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the thing that stays constant is the friendship between the two girls.
So I was going to ask you a question, because it does come from a blog. These are real characters. So did you get a chance to meet the real girls, or is there a Samantha in true life?
I have never met them. I've met Heather, who's awesome. She wrote the blog and the book. But she said that she did base these on real people, but she has not yet introduced us to them. So
Wow.
That
get
blog
on
is
her about
recent.
that.
I went to the blog today. I was at work. I was like, whoa.
You're fired.
I was like, I wasn't doing anything.
I know. She's super brassy. It's great.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the journey before being Samantha, just about your career before that?
For sure. Well, I went to Wheaton College right outside of Chicago and fell in love with
I'm from Michigan, so yeah.
Oh, cool. I guess I really fell in love with theater there, and I saw like plays that were like holy, like they were so. It was like stories where you like connect with people. It's just the human story unapologetically. It's like there's no like nothing wrapped around it saying like, oh, and this means this. It's just like the human story, and. So then I moved to New York, and I started doing some regional theater. I did Juliet at the Virginia Shakespeare Festival, and I did Emily Webb in our town at the Arden Theater in Philadelphia, and I did a couple plays and one at the Alliance Theater. And then I just got like a few, like it was a dead body on Body of Proof, which was awesome.
I saw a screenshot from that. Yeah. You're being like lifted up by the Emmy.
It was actually like super fun. I love being a corpse because you just sit in makeup all day and you just get to like watch everyone and
get paid.
They probably get creeped out by looking at you sometimes too, huh? It's
I
like,
know. Jerry Ryan brought her daughter to set, and I forgot that I was like all moldy because I was this girl that got like exhumed from the dead, and I was like, "Hi," because I love kids, and she was like, "Ah." Yeah, but then I've been to Africa 6 times. I'm a teaching artist and director there, so
Wow.
So I've kind of gotten to do that in tandem with my like professional work here.
That's really cool.
Amazing.
It's
Yeah.
really cool. And I understand you have a project that you're working on now.
I am. I'm about to go shoot a movie in New York. It's called Underground. I'm really excited about it. It's 4 people wake up in a safe room underneath like a chemical weapons plant in New York City, and they've been attacked. They don't know why they're there, and there's like 60 minutes before like the room is gonna explode, and they have to figure out like why they're there and how they can get out. So
wow,
yeah, it's
That
gonna
sounds
be
awesome.
really fun.
I already want to see that.
Yeah.
It sounds great.
Yay.
Yeah, good. I'll tell my friends.
Please tell everybody.
2 of us.
Definitely.
Now, a
people.
little bit aside from your career. Your career is awesome, by the way. I read like a little bit of your bio and your resume on your Facebook page and stuff, so it's really cool. And I really am trying to figure out what's your ethnic background, man, 'cause
I know, it's so confusing.
Because you have a German last name, right?
I do have a German last name, and that's not an accident because my grandfather's German.
Oh, okay. Right on.
Yeah.
Was he a Nazi?
I hope not.
So what about your parents? Where were each of your parents from?
Well, I grew up in Iowa, but ethnically, I'm Norwegian, German, Scotch, Irish.
Okay.
Unless there's some intrigue in the family tree that I don't know about.
You have like a slightly like exotic look, so you would think like there would be like some fancy one in there.
I know. Everyone thinks I'm fancy.
I was gonna throw in
That's
some.
a good thing.
I was gonna throw in some like Asian in there.
I know. I
'cause
wish.
You have like that little bit in your eyes that like would give that away, but I guess not. Man.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't say that publicly because sometimes I've gotten cast as a Spanish girl.
Ethnically ambiguous.
See, that's what's big right now. Ethnically ambiguous stars, man.
Well, hopefully I'll be ethnically ambiguous long enough.
For those of you who are listening and not watching, Rebecca Blumhagen is effing gorgeous.
Oh my gosh.
And no,
It's ridiculous.
don't be modest. It's
Thank
like,
you.
yeah. And I was actually, when I was looking at your pictures and stuff online, I was like, I wonder if she's going to really be that pretty in real life. And then I saw you and I was like, yep, she's gorgeous.
Even in casual attire, she's
She's like the
Right,
perfect
no makeup.
balance between cute and gorgeous.
Yeah.
Thanks. So
But anyway, you should definitely Bing search her, Bing image search her, BLUMHAGEN, Rebecca Blumhagen, because you're in for a real treat.
Thanks.
And of course, watch her on Cinemax Girls Guide to Depravity.
Follow her on Twitter too.
Rebecca, I had one question for you. This show, obviously, like you said, or we've all discussed, it's a little racy, and
Yeah.
you talked about choosing to do nudity. How does your support system go off that? Are they watching every episode? Are there some parts of the content that just
Ronnie,
isn't comfortable?
I love that question.
Like
Thank
your friends
you.
and family.
Yeah, that's a good question. My grandma actually got Cinemax to watch me, and she watches every episode.
Nice.
Wow.
Which is really sweet. My parents don't have TV at all, so they don't even have to think about it.
And they're Irish? Like, I just picture it because my whole family's like Irish and we have like 1,000 TVs and we just sit there and we just watch TV.
Yeah. My family is really supportive of me and they would be supportive of me if I was successful or not successful, and they make like a big point to like let me know that their love is constant and not to kind of like they don't get really like rocked. Like if I have a big success or something like that, they like make a big point to let me know that like my identity doesn't like get shifted.
I love how grounded she is, and she, totally like we say, she's a cute girl, but she's also got a lot going on for her. I wanted you to quickly, Rebecca, give us your story of pretty much how you even found AfterBuzz in general. Something that happened in this studio to begin with, right?
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm a big Shameless fan, and I follow Shanola Hampton, who I'm also a fan of, on Twitter, and I saw that she was on the show. So I watched it, and I was like, that's so awesome. Like, I love the concept of the show because I think, like, when we make stories, like, the whole point of making stories is to, like, reflect back on, like, human life and what that means. But I feel like TV makes us so isolated when we watch it. So it's so cool to have the idea of something that like, brings everyone together and talks it through. And I saw her on the show, and she was so great. And I was like, that's so cool. I wonder if they'd be interested in our show. So then I had talked to my friend Rabia, and she hooked me up.
We're glad you did so, yeah.
Maybe we should get an after show going for your show.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
You have to come and host. What would be your dream hosting AfterBuzz show? Like, what show would you want to host every week?
Host every week?
Yeah, like, what's your favorite TV show?
Well, I have to say Shameless, even though I'm going to get in trouble.
I love that.
That's great.
Okay. All right, well, thank you so much for being here with us. It's been such a pleasure. And
thanks so much for having me.
You just made the room so much more lovely, and we appreciate that.
Darn you, Anna, what about me?
You're still my number one girl.
Okay,
Don't be like that. All right. And I think now we're going to move into some predictions. So.
And now,
that's not as loud as I remember.
I wish we could all gravitate during that.
It's a haunted Halloween ride predictions. Rebecca, would you like to start us off?
What do you think is going to happen next time on Awake?
On Awake, I bet we're going to get a little more Rex.
Okay.
But we have to unless he quit. Nobody told us.
Yes.
We got a Disney movie. Still leave. I never have predictions. I have a really cool tweet. I'm just going to add it in my predictions. It's from Wilmer Valderrama, and he said the other day, a dream is a projection of the reality you desire. Wake up to the world you want. I don't know if it has anything to do with Awake, but I thought it was cool that he tweeted that about dreams and reality and waking up to your reality. Maybe he's telling Britten something. I don't know.
Maybe. Giving his partner a heads up what's going to be happening. I really hope that next time we go to Oregon, because they've been talking about it. It's been a really slow moving process towards that place, and I want it to happen, like I want to see him go there, have him fall asleep in Oregon, and then have him wake up in LA and vice versa. I want that to happen.
Yeah, I'm on board with you on that totally. I am really looking forward to seeing how the writers can handle that, because that's like badass writing. If you can figure that out, how to bridge those worlds and get him up there and get him back to LA and there and back again, that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, I think I made my prediction earlier when I said these are out of sequence episodes.
Yeah. And
I think they especially hinted at that tonight when the episode itself was out of sequence.
Yeah.
So,
It's a clue.
It's a clue. We like those clues.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, Rebecca, thank you again so much for being here with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Can you come back next week?
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome here anytime. Again, you can catch Rebecca on Cinemax's Girls Guide to Depravity, which airs Fridays on, it's 11:10 Central. I think it's 8 o'clock Pacific. I think it depends on maybe your satellite feed. So
it's on both. I mean, you can watch the East Coast feed on the West Coast at 8 o'clock, or you can watch it at 11 o'clock.
Great. So watch it twice. Why not? And again, you can buy the book. We can pre-order the book on Amazon.com. It's coming out May 8th. And if you're going to buy on Amazon.com, buy it by clicking the link on AfterBuzzTV.com.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And in the meantime, I am your host, Anna Koppel. You can find me at Koppel for Mayor.
You can find me at twitter.com/ I love how I start that off with the Twitter, like obviously.com, whatever. Twitter.org / Kristen Carney, KRISTENCARNEY, and go to my blog, sweatthesmallstuffwithkristen.com, and like it on Facebook. If you don't, I will be fine with it because no one does it anyway. So
you will kill people. You will kill them tomorrow.
Yes.
Sean Overman, you can follow me on Twitter, Sean_Overman, and you can also find my blog, SeanOverman.org, where I do streaming content reviews.
Yeah, and I'm Lauren Turner. My Twitter is Lauren's Love, and you can find me at laurenslove.com too. So yeah.
Great, fantastic. Thank you, AfterBuzzers, for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.